Ever look at your Louboutins and think, there's no way in hell I could ever walk in these? Same. Yo también. I used to live in Uggs 24/7 as a stay at home mom, but then life threw me back into the workforce and I made a game changing decision. I committed to wearing my Louboutins every single day. Best decision I could have ever made. It taught me that walking in heels isn't some special gift that only a few chosen people are born with. Because, spoiler alert, nobody comes out of the womb knowing how to walk in Louboutins. It's just muscle memory. And trust me, if I can build it, anyone can. And once you do, you can walk into any room like you own it. In this video, I'll show you exactly how I went from baby giraffe mode to badass mode. Let's go from UGG mode to Louboutin mode together. So this video series is actually going to be two parts. This first part is all about how to teach yourself how to physically walk in heels. So we're going to go over form, technique, muscle memory. We're going to go over some hacks that can help you learn how to walk in heels from the comfort of your own home. That second video will be for those of you who are having a hard time getting your butt out the door. You may get to a point where you can run circles around your house in heels. You think, yeah, I'm going to go out. I'm going to wear my Louboutins today. And then you start to panic and you chicken out. I've definitely been there. So that video is going to be for you guys. If you're having a hard time getting out the door, we'll go over some hacks in that second video to help you build that emotional confidence to just go out and do it. Here's what most people don't tell you is that you can practice all the proper form and technique all you want, but there's this one weird exercise that will cut your learning time in half. I call it my crazy ass walk. And yes, it looks ridiculous, but I'll explain exactly why it works. But first, let's talk about what you're actually building when you practice. The most important thing for you to remember when you're trying to teach yourself how to walk in heels is you need to practice, build muscle memory, and build muscle strength. The first step that you need to do is to start off every single day wearing your high heels at home. Go to work, come home, put them on, make dinner, fold laundry, whatever it is, just come home and for about an hour or two, wear them. This is the most important thing to do for a couple of reasons. First, you are building muscle memory. So you're teaching your feet and your legs what it's like to be in heels. When you first put on a pair of heels, it's gonna be shocking if you only wear flats. You need to just be in them, and that will help build muscle memory. And honestly, even if you put them on and you go watch TV, that's better than not putting them on at all. So just put them on and don't even worry about what you're doing. Just put them on and spend an hour or two in them doing whatever you normally would be doing at that time. Wearing heels uses different muscles than wearing flats. You are going to give your calves a serious workout if you start wearing your heels every single day. And this is what always gets people because you don't think about that, right? You don't realize it. So you're wearing your flats every single day, and then the next day you want to go on a date night, and you're like, I can handle 2 hours because I'm fine. I haven't been, wearing anything crazy. My feet are fine. They're comfortable. And so you try to wear those heels, and your calf muscles go into shock because all of a sudden you went from never using them to using them for 2 hours. That's why a lot of people think that they can't wear heels is because they haven't practiced. You haven't worked out for it. Think of it like that. You are basically working out. You wouldn't go from never running to running a 26-mile marathon, right? This is the same. You need to think of it like that is that you are working out, you're building up for that marathon, which is going out, whether it's a date night or out with friends or to work all day. One of the hacks I used to do was I would actually carry my kids around the house. If you're going to go for a walk or a run and you wear one of those weighted vests, think about how much quicker you develop muscle strength. So if you go for a run and you're wearing a weighted vest, then when you take that weighted vest off, you can run crazy fast because you were so used to having that extra weight. The hack I do is I carry extra weight around with me, not the whole, 2 hours, but I will. If you don't have kids, wear a backpack, or if you have a dog and they're not, 200 pounds, carry your dog, whatever it is, find a way to carry extra weight, and that will help you get stronger faster. The other reason that practicing and building muscle memory is so important is because wearing high heels actually causes calluses on your feet. I don't want you to panic and think that your feet are going to be really ugly with, nasty looking calluses all over. It's really not that bad. It's not noticeable, but your feet will get a lot tougher as you wear them more and more. Think about it. You have this high heel height, and then on top of that, you're in a shoe that is in hard patent leather. Even Napa, even though it's softer, it's still not as soft as like a pair of Uggs. So you're in a harder material. Gravity is naturally forcing the front part of your foot into this hard material, into the toe box. And so over time, you're just naturally going to develop those calluses necessary to protect your feet. If you're in Uggs 24/7 like I was, your feet are being babied. They are cradled in this soft, fluffy, cloud like fleece material 24/7. That's a huge difference going from that to this. That is another reason why it is so challenging to go from never wearing high heels to going on a date night and trying to last for a couple of hours in them. It's not that you can't wear heels, it's not. It's just you haven't been training for it. You haven't developed the calluses, the muscle memory, that muscle strength to be able to wear them for long periods of time. The one thing I want you to keep in mind as we go through the form and technique and talk about the little different hacks that you can do to learn how to walk in heels, the main goal of all of this is to help you learn how to control your body weight. That is the biggest challenge of wearing heels. It's so easy to do that when you're wearing flats, and then it seems like mission impossible when you're wearing heels. It's not just about walking in them, it's about making sure that if you take a wrong step and you kind of like feel like you're losing your balance, that you're able to control your body weight instinctively and bring it back to center. So that is a primary goal because ultimately at some point you may make a wrong step and you may feel your body weight start to, want to fall over, and you want to be able to instinctively just catch yourself and take that step gracefully and not like a baby giraffe. When you're wearing heels, you need to take significantly smaller steps. And I'm going to explain why. You can see that my tennis shoes are significantly longer than my high heels. The length between my heel and the front part of the shoe is almost 11 inches. It's 10 and 3/4 inches. So that is my step. That is a long step. The length on my hot chicks is less than 8 inches. So that's 3.5 to 4 inch difference in my step. So remember that is that your footstep in a high heel is going to be a lot smaller than in a pair of flats. And you want to make sure to take little steps, even if you kind of got to do it like this, one in front of the other. That's okay, just to get practice because the smaller the steps, honestly, the easier it's going to be to walk. Even though it kind of sucks because you're taking more steps, which is a little more work, it's so much easier to keep your body weight centered when you're taking these little steps. When you're walking in heels, you want to aim forward. So you want to walk in a straight line. It really helps if you have a line or something on the ground that you can use to aim for. I have marble tile floors, so I do have straight lines on my floors. But if you don't have straight lines on your floors, you can simply just put tape down. The perfect tape would be painter's tape because it's super easy to pick up and it's bright blue, so it's very easy to see. Standing up straight makes everyone arch their back weird, and honestly, it kind of hurts your lower back. So I don't think of it like that. What I do instead is I do what I call is the Shakira method. Shakira has all these great chest movements that she does with her dance routines. One of her core movements is a chest pop. So she just pops up her chest in the air, right? You're not really doing anything else with your body. You're not, lifting your arms up. You're just sticking your chest up in the air, basically. So for the Shakira method, what I do is I will do a chest pop to get my chest up in the air, and that will straighten out your back but not to the point where you're hurting your lower back. So it doesn't extend it too far. Now, normally when you're walking and you're not walking straight, you're kind of walking like this. And so your shoulders are pointing either forward or almost like down, depending on how bad your posture is. So when you do the chest pop, it automatically brings your shoulders up more. So now they're straight. And then what you want to do is just think relax the shoulders back because you don't want them to be tense. You want them to be relaxed so you have a more fluid movement. And the final step is that you want to have a tight core. Think of it like having a standing permanent crunch, right? If you're on the ground, you normally do those little teeny crunches. Now you're just standing up and you're holding that crunch. I think of it like sucking in my gut. So imagine you're walking by a cute guy or girl and you want to look your best. So naturally you're going to go and hold in your stomach, right? Because you want your stomach to look flatter. So that's what I do is I actually hold that stomach in. That's how you get a tight core that's going to support your upper body. Shakira chest pop, relax the shoulders back, suck in that tummy, and bam, perfect posture. Now that you're in that perfect posture, not only is your back straight, but your head is naturally aligned to look straight ahead. And that's what you want to do. You don't want to be looking down at the ground when you're walking. You want to be walking tall, right? That's what they say, walking tall, stand tall. Now your head is naturally aligned to do that. So no thinking required, basically. Just look straight ahead and start walking. Perfect posture without even thinking about it. I want you to spend some time just practicing thinking heel to toe. So just go heel to toe, heel to toe, heel to toe. That is really important to get that movement down. I've seen some really bad recommendations out there to walk on your tippy toes. Please do not do this. If you're walking on your tippy toes like this, you are going to fall straight forward on your face. I do understand a little bit why people are thinking that they need to walk on their tippy toes because there's significantly more surface area on the front part of your foot than on that tiny little heel tap. So, they're probably thinking, okay, the front part of my foot can handle the weight more than the heel tap. It's very intimidating walking heel to toe. You're walking on this tiny little stiletto and you're like, oh my God, I'm going to fall over. But as long as you're practicing at home, doing those small controlled movements, you're going to build that muscle memory and that muscle strength a lot quicker and you'll have no problem walking heel to toe. When you're taking those steps, heel to toe, keep your leg close to the ground. Keep that foot pointed down initially, and then do a straight leg, touch that heel tap to the floor, and then casually lean forward. And then do it again. So you keep that toe pointed down, do sort of straight leg, heel tap to the floor, and then lean forward. And keep practicing this slowly until it becomes more natural. Heel to toe is non-negotiable. You have to do heel to toe. It's going to feel really hard. I'm not going to lie, it is. It's really hard because you are essentially balancing your body on a stick. But it will come. Just keep practicing. Pretty soon, you'll start getting better and better, and then the speed will come after that. If you feel too unstable at first with heel to toe, you can try the glide technique. This is sort of like a baby step into the full heel to toe. Kind of like having training wheels on a bike before you start practicing riding a bike without them. Instead of taking that step forward like that, what I want you to do is bend your knee, keep that toe kind of pointed down, and instead of going straight, you're going to glide it across the floor and then take the step and then lean forward. So you'll kind of glide it across the floor and then take a step. Glide it across the floor and then take a step. This will really help with your confidence because your foot is going to remain really, really close to the ground for the entire step. So you're not going to feel that panic of thinking that you're going to fall. The first thing I want you to do is imagine you have a 360-degree little bubble around your body. What we're going to try to do is keep our legs and our arms within this space. When you first start walking in heels, you want to make sure that you're taking smaller steps, both vertically and horizontally. Thinking about having this little bubble around your body is going to remind you not to take giant steps that are going to throw your balance off. In general, the end goal is going to be you're going to be walking tall, looking straight ahead, walking in a straight line. And then you're going to want to take smaller steps and go heel to toe. To start off with, you want to take a very slight bend in your knee. And it's okay to let the knee kind of go in front of the other leg. I feel like that really helps keep it smaller and controlled within this space. So do that little knee bend. You can even stick your hip out a little bit if you want. Then lift that leg up and keep the front part of the toe pointed down. Then when you take a step, all you're going to do is straighten out your leg. So straight leg, let that heel tap rest on the ground and then just lean forward and let the front part of your foot touch the ground. So same with this leg now. So you got that little knee bend. Lift the leg up, keep that toe pointed down, straight leg, heel tap on the floor, lean forward and take a step. Practice this as often as you can to get used to taking smaller, controlled steps. You want to make sure that you're keeping everything within this space. Now, if you get wobbly when you're doing this, don't panic because it's a lot harder to do slow than it is to do fast. But you want to make sure that you're doing it slow initially so you build that muscle strength and that muscle memory. Okay, let's go over this crazy ass walk that is going to cut your learning time in half. When I was teaching myself how to walk in heels, I accidentally discovered this exaggerated crosswalk and it was a complete game changer. Here's what it looks like. Normally, when you're walking in heels, right, we're going in a straight line. For my crazy ass walk, instead of going straight, I go over the line. I basically do a crosswalk. While I'm doing this, I'm not taking, a giant step. It's actually really hard to do that. I am using that glide technique that I just showed you. And we're going to glide the foot and basically swing your leg straight over the line. Take that step, do the same thing, and just walk like this. I know it's dramatic. But here's why it works better than traditional practice. This exaggerated crosswalk teaches three things simultaneously. First, it teaches weight distribution. So when you're doing these exaggerated cross movements, you're swinging your weight around. So you're going from left back to center, right back to center, left back to center. You get the point. So you're swinging your body weight around and then practicing bringing it back to center. If you practice this at home, when you're out and about in the real world and you accidentally take a wrong step, you will instinctively, without even thinking about it, gracefully bring your weight back to center because it will be muscle memory. More than that, it's mental memory. You have that instinction of like how to bring your weight back to center. And this is teaching you how to do that without even thinking about it. Honestly, it makes you go from feeling like a baby giraffe when you take a wrong step to feeling very elegant and graceful. And it almost looks like you meant to take the wrong step. No one is even going to notice that you took a wrong step. Second is that it forces smaller steps. It's virtually impossible to take a giant vertical step when you're doing this exaggerated crosswalk. So you're training your legs to take smaller steps without even thinking about it. Third and finally, and this is the most genius part, is that it makes walking in a straight line feel like a cakewalk. Because what you're doing is you're being asked to take these exaggerated movements over the line, right? Then when you go to walk in a straight line, instead of going over the line, you're only being asked to go halfway. So you're only being asked to go to the line. And it feels so incredibly easy and natural because you're doing half the work now. This was a game changer for me of breaking that habit of not walking in a straight line. If you've never worn heels before, you probably think you're walking in a straight line, but if you videotape yourself, you'll realize that you're kind of walking all over the map, sort of like carelessly, that you're really not walking in a straight line. I didn't realize how bad I was walking until I tried to walk in heels. After getting used to doing this exaggerated crosswalk, I honestly felt like I could run in a straight line. I was just like, yeah, I got this, you know? Once you've gone through all this and you find that you're walking around your house, like basically running circles around your house in your heels, then you want to advance into what I call as environmental trading. And it's basically just taking really, really small trips, like under 30 minutes, to go out and about in the real world and walk on a surface that you're not used to. because you're going to be used to walking on your floors at home, and that's something you can control. When you're walking out and about in the real world, you can't always control the floor or the surface that you're walking on. So, this is when you take the opportunity to practice on different surfaces and adjust your walk based on that surface. For example, you could walk down to the mailbox and back, and that will get you good practice walking on the sidewalk or on the road. You could run to the grocery store really quick. Just make little trips like that to get more and more comfortable with walking on different surfaces and just in general being out and about in them. We're going to go over a weekly plan to take you from UGG mode to Louboutin mode. All right, guys, here's the plan. This plan is a 4-week plan with an option to extend up to 6 or even 8 weeks. You can technically learn the form and technique in 2 weeks if you really push it, but I do not recommend that. 2 weeks is just not enough time to develop that muscle strength necessary for a date night out or a night out with friends. On top of that, you're going to be second guessing your steps. You're not going to be as confident as you would if you spent 4 weeks. I personally did 6 weeks, and that's because my goal wasn't a date night. My goal was all day at work. If you have the time, I highly, highly, highly recommend taking the full 8 weeks. I'm a total nerd when it comes to tracking my progress. If you've seen some of my other videos, you may know that because I'm always creating documents to help track everything. So I did the same for this video. If you're a nerd like me, feel free to use this document to track your progress. Full breakdown with all the daily logs in the free tracker. Link in the description. All right, now you have the physical skills to walk in Louboutins. But what I wasn't expecting was after training for a month and a half at home, when it came to actually wearing them to work, I almost chickened out. That first day, I was getting ready and I started to panic. Physical confidence and emotional confidence are two totally different things. In part 2, I'll tell you how I went from panicking to wearing them every single day without even thinking about it. Because the emotional part is where the real transformation happens. See you in part 2, guys.